Welcome to the Football Show on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. I'm Peter Martin, Alan Ruff, Alison McConnell and Tam McManus here with me on Friday's show. We're on the podcast, we're on YouTube, and if you hit the subscribe button, you'll join the football family. If you download the app in Google Play or the App Store, you'll get all the breaking news at your fingertips. Thank you for joining us on our live YouTube feed. We like to read out more than a few messages. Big thank you to Kenny, who sent us a video off. We might put it on I think Monday's show. He's been doing a bit of hospitality out there in America, in LA, just trying to make us jealous really, but the pictures are great.
Brilliant, yeah. I mean, we're always open to invites abroad, you know, if he wants to pay the airfare, I'd be more than happy to go and see how he operates.
He's an Aberdeen fan. There's no chance he's paying the airfare. I don't think he'd even pay it for family. Never mind you or I. But it's always good actually to try and get friends right across the globe. Would you feel uneasy, Ruffy, if we were invited over by somebody in some place, like, you know, and we're staying in their house? Would you feel uneasy, or would that pass quickly?
Oh, it would pass. There's no doubt about that, particularly if he's over in that neck of the woods, which is very attractive.
Los Angeles is fantastic. Alison, from your own point of view, would there be
I'm open to bribes, yes.
Yes. No point in asking you, because that's how you basically made your career, just staying at people's houses and then signing on for the local club. We've got lots to talk about. Rangers yet again flying the flag for Scotland in Europe. The coefficient gets a major boost with their win against Malmo. St Mirren have suspended Shaun Rooney. Celtic's women book a place in the Champions League. A little bit of history which we will chat to Alison about. Scott Brown gets a new deal at Ayr United. Not bad, Ruffy, that's how you do it. You go and speak to another club and then you get an extra year.
Yeah, but they really like him doing what he's doing. Another American owner, you know, trying to try him up, and this could be a big year for Ayr United, so he's obviously buying into it.
Yeah, lots to talk about. Let's start with that game last night. Was it 2 going on 6? I thought they could have won by more.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not taking anything away from Rangers. You know, Malmo looked pretty ordinary. They didn't look like the team that we saw in Ibrox. You know, that was it 2-12, was it, something like that? Way back
when
then.
They knocked them out.
Yeah. They looked really good then. But no, all credit to Rangers. Got the goal right away, which always sets you up for the rest of the game. They just couldn't break Rangers down. I thought the Rangers team were very, very good, and I've said it all along. European football seems to suit Rangers' style of play rather than back home here, where it must be more, you know, up and at 'em sort of stuff. But European football, they've got players who can control the game with the ball, you know, and that's what they did last night. And I couldn't see them scoring at all.
Well, I'm going to offer you an alternative to that. Every time we seem to get good results as far as Scottish clubs are concerned, you know, sometimes we tend to overplay that they're not good enough. I thought Rangers, you know, considering the bluster that the Malmo manager was saying prior to the game, I thought Rangers, you know, perfect start, 56 seconds for God's sake, but they still made them look mediocre at times, and that's to Rangers' credit.
Yeah, I think you've got to give Rangers the credit for making them look like an average side. I think they're not an average side. You see their record in Europe in recent years, it's been decent. They're
top of the table.
Top of the league in the Swedish league, they're miles ahead, so they're a good side. And Rangers went there and battered them, to be honest. You're right, it could have been 5 or 6, but for poor finishing for Rangers, you know, they missed a couple of one-on-ones. They really should go in and score. And I just thought it was a really great European away performance. I think that Ruffy hit the nail on the head. I think that it suits Rangers. Teams attack Rangers in Europe. I don't think teams sit in against Rangers in Europe. They go and attack them, and that leaves space for Rangers on the counter-attack. And for the last 4 or 5 seasons, have been excellent in Europe. So brilliant result, great start to the group. They've got a couple of winnable home games coming up as well. I know they're in a difficult group, but I think they're capable now of getting 9 or 10 points and maybe getting into the knockout stages.
Well, amazing. That point that you're making. I mean, first of all, this is what Philippe Clement had to say on that performance. If you see how many new players were on the pitch today who were not here 1 or 2 months ago, the team has already made a massive step forward to play that kind of football in this environment against that kind of opponent. He said it was his best yet, and picking up on Tam's point, Ruffy, in fact, I mean, they only need 2 more wins from 7, according to Opta, and they've been to the next round.
Yeah, I mean, this is a new thing, you know, people predicting things so early on in and at the start of the competition. Now we usually sit here and go, oh, for somebody's in the Champions League and the old groups, have you got 9 or 10 points? But the computers seem to be doing all the stuff, you know, and hopefully it does pan out that way, because you would fancy Rangers at home, particularly against that team. So you're thinking about just winning one more game.
Yeah, Rangers fans offer their own opinion on Dessers week in, week out, Ali, and at times you think maybe they're being a little bit too critical, you know, but to be fair, God almighty, he missed a sitter in the first minute, hit the post.
Yeah, I think you'd be delighted. I think he'd be the most relieved man in the pitch to when that went in.
Yeah, he missed a couple of other real chances.
He did miss, and I think that is the kind of perennial criticism, that he needs a lot of chances to reap the return that he gets. I think it is a bit harsh. I think I take the point. I think sometimes, you know, the chances that are there in a plate are the ones that he doesn't take. But I think he'll be kind of quietly satisfied with the way he started the season, to be honest.
Yeah, okay, he scored goals, but, you know, as ever, Tam, when you get to European games and big games, we were discussing this earlier in the week as well, you need to score in the big games, you know, because punters, people who go and watch Rangers who are not fooled by any bluster or statements, you know, they'll look at the way any player plays in that Rangers jersey. You've got a big chance in a European game. You have to take it.
Yeah, listen, Rangers won the game comfortably. It didn't really matter last night, but in bigger games against better opposition, you're only going to get 3 and 4 chances. You're maybe only going to get 1, and you've got to take it. So that's been obviously a big criticism from large sections of Rangers fans, that he doesn't take enough chances, doesn't score enough goals.
It wasn't the only one. Cherny's was a...
No, Cherny's was a sitter, and again, I thought he was okay last night. Should have scored. He's been disappointing. I thought Bajrami looked good. A couple of 3 or 4 great through balls. You know, putting people. Thought he had a decent game as well. I thought Suter at the back was superb, and him and Proper cruised the game. So a lot of big performances from Rangers. And if you take out that Celtic game, you know, if you take that out in isolation, they've actually had a good start of the season, Rangers. You know, apart from that game, they've won most of their games, if not all their games, and great start in Europe. So as I said, it's just that one major blip against Celtic. But by that, I think the Rangers supporters will be delighted with the start of the season.
And again, Robbie, it just shows you the erratic nature of supporters. Maybe at times, I have to say, sometimes even in our group, whether it's broadcast, written, you know, we are guilty at times of maybe looking on a game-by-game basis. But to their credit, he has emphasised he wants to build a team. He wants to try and get the average age down, get the people that were high wage earners off the bill, off the books, and then look to try and get the formation of his team. And you've got to give him credit for that.
Yeah, I mean, right for the start, you know, he's tried to get everybody to buy into everything he's been doing. You know, he's been saying to everybody, you know, just sit tight. You know, I think the one Celtic in January was just a wee bit too much, but certainly there's a lot of games in between, and I think that we're now looking at a Rangers team with certain players coming back, and if they 11 stick together, they will get better. There's no doubt about that, because there's some quality players in that side. So you just have to hang tight and judge the games as they come up.
Yeah, absolutely, and just correcting you on that, Ruffy, I think it's a similar style again. This new format, the Europa League. Mm-hmm. You know, you're not getting home and away. You're getting different opposition, which I think is great, Ali. Yeah,
I think so too. I think it's something new. I think there's a different vibe to it, because you don't have the calculator out to work out well what can happen there, and basically if you've got a home and away tie, the permutations of that. So it is something different, a bit like what you're seeing in the Champions League this season too, and I think it just offers it's a more refreshing way to go about it.
Yeah, and at home, Lyon, which, you know, with that full capacity, suddenly Rangers don't have to worry about Hampden and that sterile atmosphere.
I think it's huge. I think it's absolutely huge. I think there were so many issues around it, so much noise around it at the start of the season. I think it fed into just a difficult opening weeks of the campaign, and I think getting back to Ibrox is significant. I think it just, I think it takes away the complexities of playing at Hampden and the grumbles of discontent around it. I think people getting back into their normal seats, sitting next to people that they've probably been next to for years that they're at games at. And I think just Ibrox and Hampden in terms of atmosphere are very, very different just because of the construction of both stadiums.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kenny poses a very interesting question. He says, I wonder if Rangers will challenge the Dons for second now, you know, because everything's looking good. I love the Aberdeen fans.
Kenny will be hiding in the 1st of November. That's my prediction.
Yeah, we have warned many a Dons fan on what's coming in October. But listen, if they come out, listen, if the Dons, Ruffy, come out of October with, you know, some big scalps, they will be going absolutely crazy in that city.
I said that a couple of weeks ago.
What did you say?
I said if Aberdeen continue the way they're going, winning games obviously, and I would expect Rangers to be winning games as well. If that Aberdeen Rangers game came at Pittodrie, whenever it is, you know, and if Aberdeen to win that, Aberdeen supporters will believe that this could be the year that they split the Old Firm.
Yeah. Nice comment from William Smith. He says, afternoon, Peter, Ruffy, Tam, and our lovely Alison, which is great. Just three mediocre guys and the lovely Alison. It's always good to read.
Jeff's in it. A wee comment for Alison as well there.
Yeah, lovely green top, Alison says, Jeff. Fantastic.
Fan club, Alison? Quite a fan club.
Absolutely. Jeff
Cost me a fortune.
Exactly. Jeff knows a lot
House
of
husband's favourite.
Yeah. That's a new tag. It was much better than the old tag, I have to tell you, Ali. There are some people who just don't like you.
Thank you.
But it was because you're sitting next to the housewife's favourite. Honestly, you two should do your own show, just recipes and things like that. It'd be great. Two people that are well liked now.
Yeah.
In contrast to you and I, who are despised regularly.
We've just been a dartboard, just throwing knives at it. How you can run like a spit.
Yeah, absolutely. How often can we get barred? Okay, so suddenly, from the highs of European football, it's your mob. It's Hibs. It's our Ibrox. 932 fans finally will get the tickets.
I just hope they're not leaving early. It's one of the ones I've been moaning. I've had a moan as well this week about the uncertainty of Hibs getting the tickets, and they've got their full allocation. They've got 900 in the corner, and listen, it's up to the team to go and put a performance in. Their record against Rangers, I was having a look last night, is shocking. Over the last 10 or 11 games, I think they've got a couple of draws and the rest have been humped, and they've took some real serious tankings in that as well. So listen, Hibs will be rested. They've had a couple of weeks off the international break. Rangers travelling back last night. I always say the first 20-25 minutes, whenever you go to Celtic Park and Ibrox, you need to keep the home team quiet for the first 20-25 minutes. If you can do that, you can grow into the game. You can feel the uncertainty in the stadium. If Rangers score an early goal, it'll probably just be the same again. So they've got to keep it tight and try and score the first goal. If you score the first goal, you're always in the game at Celtic Park and Ibrox. But if they concede early, then it could be another long afternoon. But I'm glad the fans are in. Let's hope they give the team some support and they're there for the full 90 minutes and they're not leaving 3 or 4 down with 20 minutes to go.
Why did you make such a song and dance about it? 932 fans.
No, because I think there's a lot of Hibs supporters who go to every game. They want to go to every away game. They want to get into Lions Den. They want to be there when Hibs get a result. You know, it might be this weekend. It might be a year's time. You never know, but they want to be there when it happens. And no, there's a lot of Hibs supporters, diehards, who want to get into that environment and support the team.
Yeah, I must admit, Ruffy, if I was a fan, and I think about you know when I was younger, I would not like to get into that corner as an away fan. I just it wouldn't be great. You know, it's quite. Ali, I wouldn't go in the corner. I wouldn't go in there.
No, I think the police have got it well under control now. You can see there's a gap for either side that there shouldn't be anything happening.
Yeah.
But as Tom said, if you're a supporter there, the big games you want to go and see, you want to be there and witness what's happening.
Okay, yeah, and by the way, I'm going to read this out because of course sometimes, and I always like to read out the odd noise up, Tam, because as ever we always say to people, come on and give us pelters, we can take it. We're big enough and man enough. Some people obviously, they come on because they've got an agenda, and I would go as far as to say Stephen has got an agenda. Peter's happy to applaud John McGlynn for his approach against Celtic, yet he was critical of Celtic's approach against Real Madrid. How do you explain that, Peter? Stephen, I think you're possibly...
Great point.
Yeah, great point. Great point, Steve. I think you're possibly missing the point, to be perfectly honest with you. And I'll go back to it again. Is it a case, and I say it quite openly, is it a case that maybe Hibs should take a leaf out of John McGlynn's book? If John McGlynn's Falkirk side can go and take the game to Celtic. Now, realistically, we would all sit in this couch before John McGlynn's side went to Celtic Park. Did anybody think seriously they were going to come out with anything other than a pasting? No. Is that fair?
No, yeah.
So you park the bus, you get criticised. I thought they went out and played positive football. Just on the point that Stephen's making, which is completely and utterly nonsense, Celtic played 60 minutes of good football against Real Madrid. Good football, 60 minutes, but there's no 60 minutes cup. I thought they had a great attitude to it, but they just got outdone by a fantastic Real Madrid side. May I say also that Liverpool, had a fantastic period where they were 2-0 up against Real Madrid, and Real Madrid came back and spanked them, just to satisfy Stephen's point. I'm all for teams having a go and playing good football. I'd rather see that than parking the bus, would you not?
No, absolutely, but there's, I think you've got to have a system of defending as well. You can't just go, right, we're going to go and play 3 up front or 4 up front and just go for it. You'll get annihilated. I think
Falkirk went 2-1 up.
They did, Peter, but at the end of the day, they still get beat 5-2. I mean, you're talking about 60 minutes. Falkirk played well for 60 minutes as well. You've got to do it for the full 90 minutes. And I applaud John McGlynn. You've got to be brave as a coach to go to Celtic Park as a championship team and play the way you've always played. That's why I like Ange Postecoglou, because it doesn't change whether he's playing Falkirk at home or Real Madrid away. You go and play the same system, play the same way.
Can I ask you something on that? Just on that point, and I know we're just slightly digressing. I sat down last night and watched Tottenham against Karabag, and at one point I'm sitting on the couch and I went, oh, for fuck, defend. They had 2 guys at the back, and if the big guy Janino had his shooting boots on, they could have been battered.
That's the way Spurs play. And I watched the game as well, Peter. They get a man sent off after 5 minutes and they still play attacking football. And that's why I like Ange Postecoglou, because no matter what, he's going to play the way he's going to play. He's either going to win or he's going to lose, and he's going to go down on his own sword. He's not going to go and say, I might go and sit in the day and play a wee bit more defensive. No, even with 10 men they went and attacked and they won the game 3-0. So that's why I like it. Managers like that. John McGlynn's another one. He's getting great results from it, Peter, so why would you change?
Yeah.
I know he's going to Celtic Park. It's a big step up in class, but they're unbeaten in nearly 40 league games. Why would you go and change something that's been working for you? So,
and it's not as if he has better... Does he have better players at Falkirk at his disposal than Hibs?
No, not at all. I just think he's been there for a while. They know exactly what they're doing. They've got legs in the team, energy, pace. Will Hibs go and play like that against Rangers? I'm not so sure with David Gray. I think he's more pragmatic.
Yeah.
I think he'll go and try and frustrate. Listen, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how you play, you've just got to get a result. And Hibs have got to go and play really, really well to get a result, because Rangers, as I said, bar that Celtic game, have been pretty decent recently.
Yeah, a lot of angry people on the feed today. And this one says, why is it called PLZ Soccer? We're Scottish, not American. Sort it out. Thanks for that. I think we've set the tone for the day, Ruffy. Okay, Rangers against Hibs. Give us your thoughts, Ruffy.
Well, I hope Hibs do go in possession of the ball, cause Rangers problems. I think Rangers will have a lot of possession. We all talk about them coming back for Europe, but I think Rangers have now got players they can throw in there if they want to leave a couple out. So for me, it's all about Hibs. I've not been convinced with Hibs at all this year. They've had wee results here and there, so this is a great game to show some kind of statement that they are on the right road. But I don't think they will.
It's just that.
I think Rangers will win quite easy, 2-0.
An easy 2-0.
Yeah, easy.
The same. I think it'll be a comfortable 2-0 for Rangers. I've not seen anything from Hibs this season that would encourage any evidence that they would be capable of going and getting a result at Ibrox.
Okay, I'm going to go 3-0 Rangers.
I'll go 2-1. 2-1 to Rangers. I just don't think Hibs, I agree with the guys, defensively at the minute are convincing enough. I think they'll score. I think Hibs have got a goal in them, maybe 2, but I just don't think they're great at the back. I'll go for 2-1 to Rangers, sadly.
Okay, St Johnstone versus Celtic is 17:45 on the Saturday. I think Premier Sports have this one. And of course, this is what Brendan had to say about the game coming up. I think there's problems over some players. Cameron Carter-Vickers will miss tomorrow. He's got a bit of a pain on his big toe and the joint there as well. So we just have to look at that before each game. It's difficult to tell if he will be fit for Dortmund. We just have to concentrate on the St Johnstone game at the moment. Strangely enough, who was it? Which one of you mentioned?
Hugh and I.
Yeah, that he looked as if
He was on
he
the journals.
Yeah, he looked as if he was not his usual self in that first Champions League match.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought he looked as though he looked a bit immobile at points, especially as the game went on.
Yeah, interesting, but it's a game by game with him. I don't think there'll be any great worry as they face St Johnstone. Although, interestingly enough, we talked about Scott Brown getting a new extended deal at Ayr United. One of the things that I was reading on the discussions that he had with him, I don't think he was too enamoured with whatever the Americans had suggested was the game plan for the way forward. You have to go and be interviewed, obviously try and relay your thoughts on how you want to play and how you see the future. The Americans clearly will have in Scott Brown's case, a different idea of how they want to play things going forward.
Yeah, I don't think Scott's in any rush really to leave Ayr United. I think they're sitting in a great spot at the minute, as Ruffy says earlier. David Smith, the guy, the CEO, he loves him, the owner, and I think he's very, very highly rated down there. Him and Stephen Whittaker, they've just got a new contract out. I think Scott will feel, no disrespect to St Johnstone, but he's probably got a bigger club in him in terms of his next job. I think with Ayr United, I would think between them and Falkirk, I think they'll be one of those two teams will go up. And if Ayr United go up, I don't know the last time Ayr United won the Premier League, it must be 30, 40 years ago. He'd be an absolute legend down there. And then, with that in his back pocket, I think they'd see bigger clubs coming from than St Johnstone. So I was obviously had the courtesy of going and speaking to them, but he's thought, it wasn't for him, and he's went back to Ayr United. He was linked with Wraith Rovers as well. So when you're doing a good job, you're linked with teams, but I don't think that Scott Brown will be in any rush to move from Ayr United. As I said, they're just built a new stand down there as well. They're ambitious. I think he's got a decent budget for the Championship. He's enjoying it, and as I say, I don't think that he'd be in any rush to leave the club.
Yeah. Which bigger job do you think he's got in him?
I think he's got Hibs in him. I think he's got Hibs in him. I think he's got something like that. I think he's went down to his first job was Fleetwood, which was a difficult job for your first job. I think I'd done my coaching badges with him. He wasn't really that experienced in terms of coaching, in terms of time on the grass. He was down to Fleetwood, initially done really well, then lost his job, then he's come up with United and done well. So, as I said, I think if anything happened at Hibs, I think he'd be the favourite for the Hibs job, the way he's going now. And eventually, probably maybe even Celtic. That's maybe his ultimate aim is to go back to Celtic to be manager. So, I don't think St Johnstone was the right move for him anyway. So I'm not surprised that he didn't fancy it.
Ruffy, it was such a great question posed by Tam there. When was the last time Ayr United were in the Scottish Premiership? Do you want to have a wee guess?
I would say round about. I would say round about the 70s.
Yeah, Ali.
Yeah, I think probably late 70s.
Yeah, I think it could have been. Do you remember? I think it was around about the time when. Remember the guy Walker McCall? Do you remember the big guy?
Walker McCall, man. Davy Wells was there.
He used to play up front for Aberdeen, but he also played for Ayr United. Walker McCall. He's a big, tall, blonde-haired boy.
Yeah. The only Ayr United striker that I remember was Dixie Ingram.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, 77-78, they finished 9th, and obviously were relegated to the Championship because it was a 10-team Scottish Premier League.
That's a long time ago.
It is a long time ago, so if he got them up, he would be legendary status there.
Absolutely.
Well done, Ollie.
Yeah, well done. Absolutely. Absolutely. St Johnstone against Celtic. I think Andy Kirk will be more than happy just to stay in there and take the reins, Ali, and until such times as they do get their man.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
Tiernan Lynch, I think, was the one that Scott Allen had continually said would be the man that they might be looking to?
I think the next appointment is so important for them. I think they're in a fairly... They've been in precarious situations across recent seasons. I think they want to go in and have someone to steady it. We've spoken before just about if you do drop down into the Championship, one, there's no guarantee of coming straight back up, but also financially it can be crippling for a club when you lose out on the resources that you get from playing in the top flight, which is why chairmen and boards get nervous when you've got teams sitting at the wrong end of the top flight table. So I think getting the appointment right is key. I think with the budget St Johnstone have got, with the players have got, they should be a Premier League team.
Yeah, I'm looking, Ruffy, at the way Celtic are playing at the moment. Falkirk, Slovan Bratislava, they're banging in goals, they're playing a good brand of football. Celtic fans are certainly happy with them. They will have, I think, a big test coming up with Borussia Dortmund away. We're going to get a real sense of levels when they go to the Westfalen. But they've got St Johnstone, they've got Ross County away, and then they've got Aberdeen at home in October, and then Atalanta, and then Motherwell before the last game of October against Dundee. I can't see them losing anything domestically.
No, these kind of strange results happen for me.
I think all of us are now looking and saying, okay, that's a huge lift for Rangers. I personally have been bumping my gums over the last couple of weeks to say, if your chairman comes out, whether he's now stepped down or not, and says long-term view, if your manager comes out and says that, we have said that results kill you. But if he's getting that momentum and you have to look at the evidence in front of your eyes, and he starts to get a regular 9 or 10 players, it would be great if we had Celtic, Rangers, Aberdeen in there, and maybe the other 4, 5 and 6 teams showing a bit of form that they could take the odd scalp as well along the way. But 3 good teams in the run would be brilliant, because, let's be honest about it, right across Europe, you don't get usually 4 or 5 teams in the mix. You usually get either 2 dominant, maybe 3 at a push, 4 if you're very, very lucky.
Yeah, I think ideally, you're looking at it as a neutral. You're wanting teams to go and take points off of Celtic Rangers. You want it to be more competitive. Celtic fans will be wanting Celtic to go unbeaten this season and win the league by 20 points. I get that, but in terms of other people, other supporters, you want Celtic to go away to Hibs and you think, well, Hibs are flying. Hibs might take a point off of them, or going away to Aberdeen and you think, Aberdeen are right in the mix. That'd be a tough game. Now you can just see Celtic going to places and just winning. They'll just win. They'll win. Rangers, I don't think on that level yet, but they could get to that level again where Celtic Rangers are just go to away games and just win. And so no, I totally agree. I think that it'd be good if Aberdeen stay in the mix. Obviously the Christmas period is vital. There's a lot of games in December. There'll be 7, 8 games maybe in December. If you can get through that period into January, still in there, then you've got a chance. But you've seen it in the past. Teams have started well. I was in a Hibs team that started really, really well. I think we were splitting Celtic and Rangers at Christmas.
At Christmas?
At Christmas we were second above Rangers.
What year was that?
That would have been 2001. We were second during about Christmas time.
Who was top?
Celtic. Martin O'Neill's team and Dick Advocate's team was third. And we fell away. We ended up finishing, I think, 10. I can't remember how many points behind Rangers, but we beat Rangers early in the season to go ahead of them. And I remember going up with Dundee United winning. And then after that, we're squad depth, Peter. We only had 12, 13 kind of first team players, a couple of young boys coming through, and we fell away. But that Christmas period, we were in the mix and we fell away. But if Aberdeen can be in that mix for December, January, then you never know. But I just still don't see Aberdeen splitting the Old Firm. I don't see anybody doing it at the minute.
Yeah, okay. I'm sure lots of Aberdeen fans, and Kaiser has just said it, and I love, you know what I love about Aberdeen fans who follow us on the programme, Ruffy, is when they are messaging us, they actually type exactly the way they say it in Aberdeen, which is fantastic. I love that, because we have a reporter who we're going to hear from very shortly that I love, our journalist up in Aberdeen, Kobe. And I said, we were talking about accent. I said, don't lose your accent. You should be absolutely proud to sound like an Aberdonian. I want you to be a reporter up there. I want you to be impartial, but go up there, use your accent. And Kaiser says, Kaiser says, "Dinna worry, Peter. Aberdeen are here to take points off Celtic."
Well,
So I'm happy with that.
We'll soon see, Peter. We'll soon see. They've got 2 big games coming up against them. One in October, one in November in the semi-final. So, as I said, I think it'd be great for Scottish football to see somebody coming through and really putting it up to Celtic and Rangers.
We should go up, Ruffy, because you like flags. You've just mentioned it, but everybody else is talking about the strengths of Aberdeen as a team. You go, yes, and they've got flags.
No, I'm just saying that the fans have all bought into it. You know, I've never seen that at Aberdeen for a long, long time. That 3/4 of the stadium were all buying into it, and they're all organised. The American seems to have kicked in. You know, he's bringing a lot of things to Aberdeen, and they're winning games. That's the most important thing, and the stadiums are full.
Yeah, absolutely. Kaiser just finished it off by saying, "I don't see us splitting the Old Firm either. We'll be first." That's what I like. I like it. I love that confidence. Long may it continue, to be honest with you. Now, give us your predictions then. Rangers Hibs?
2-0 Rangers.
Okay, have we done this one?
Yes.
Yeah, we have. Sorry, I think I had 3. Sorry about that, Ali. You just looked at me as if I was a complete dimwit, and I agreed with you. St Johnstone it was. St Johnstone's Celtic. I'm going to go 4-0 Celtic.
2-0 Celtic.
2-0 Celtic.
3-0.
3-0. Okay, so I'm just over the top on that. It's because I get sidelined by the Aberdeen
chat.
fan. Now, Aberdeen chat just took me off at a tangent there. Anyway, I'll tell you what's going to take us off at a tangent coming up. Ali's going to give us an insight into Celtic women making the Champions League. We're also going to be talking about the Dandy Dons there at Dens Park after we hear the headlines.
Hello, I'm Cara and here are your daily news headlines on Friday 27th of September, sponsored by Arnold Clark. Rangers got their Europa League campaign off to the perfect start last night as they beat Malmo 2-0 in Sweden. Philippe Clement said that the performance was the best so far this season. Stephen Robinson has spoken out on the club's suspension of Shaun Rooney and said it was a decision made at board level.
The club are investigating that incident, so I'm not really involved in that decision making. It's a board level decision, and I've got to concentrate on the football side of things.
Hearts interim manager Liam Fox has said he has spoken to Stephen Naismith and he has been very supportive.
I have, yes. I have. Very supportive. Again, probably a testament of how he is as a human being. Very supportive. But that's between me and Stephen. But I can't nothing but support from him.
Celtic women have progressed to the last 16 of the Champions League after a 2-0 win last night. They have been drawn in a group with Chelsea, Real Madrid and FC 20. Those were your daily news headlines on Friday 27th of September, sponsored by Arnold Clark. For more exclusive content, please be sure to download the app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yeah, that's great news there from Cara Henderson, who, Ruffy, I have to say, Cara has a great interview coming out tomorrow on our YouTube channel. It's our first big interview with Courtney Stewart, the young girl who collapsed on the park, and it took 3 hours for an ambulance to get to her. I think there was sterling work by the Rangers medical staff and other medical staff that were there present at Broadwood, but it was a long wait, and she's had difficult times with her health, playing at Sunderland, at Middlesbrough, at Newcastle, and obviously trying to kickstart her career at Partick Thistle. And it's a brilliant interview that Cara has conducted, because Cara, as you know, not only works for PLZ as a journalist, she's a striker for Partick Thistle Women. So it's out tomorrow, Ruffy.
That'd be great. I mean, you don't like to see anybody getting injured on the park. I mean, we all remember Ericsson and all that during and for that length of time, for somebody to do something about that, it must have been a horrendous, not just for the person it's happened to, for the players in both teams would be obviously anxious of how bad it was. But no, Cara will be very good at presenting. I think she'd rather do that than take penalties at this moment in time, probably.
Yeah, okay, well, you're really doing
I knew it was coming enough.
Honestly, you're doing
That's
it.
poor, Ruffy.
It really is. It's bad. She's. I mean, that's just going back to the weekend, because Cara, the great thing about since joining PLZ, there's no chance of her getting above her station at this company, because as a striker, if you miss a penalty and then you're allowed to retake it because the keeper moved, and then you put it over the bar, these two guys are
I think it hit the crossbar. I think she put it over the bar and it hit the crossbar.
Oh, wow. What did they do? Not with these two guys. They've just slaughtered her.
yeah, I'm sure Cara has a thick skin.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I can't believe you said that. That's
And
another
Brian's
dig
put
at
her
her
off
as
the
well.
penalties as well. Ruthless. Brian Graham, ruthless.
Yeah, absolutely.
Off the
But
penalties.
she's doing well, and it's a brilliant interview with Courtney Stewart, an exclusive interview, and I think great credit to Cara for doing that interview at Firhill, and really well worth it tomorrow. Tam, if you've got a spare 10 minutes, I know your attention rate is usually 90 seconds, but if you can, that would be absolutely fantastic. We're talking about the Dandy Dons. They're at Dens Park. Tony Docherty's side unbeaten at Dens, and the Dons 11 straight wins.
I think this will be a cracker. I really do. I like to look at this game, Peter. I think Dundee at home score a lot of goals. They go and attack. You know, they've got plenty of goals in them. Aberdeen, 11 straight wins. Go in. Big support will be down for Aberdeen as per usual. That stand in the far end. I think there'll be loads of goals in this game. I don't see it being a 0-0, but I think that the Aberdeen run will come to an end here. I don't think Aberdeen will beat Dundee. I think Dundee are more than capable of getting a draw. I'm going to go for 2 each in this game.
Wow, that's a big call there. I mentioned to you that our reporter, Kobe Henderson, is up there. We'll start to see more and more of Kobe. He does the match reports and covers the press conferences for us. He was there to listen to the words of Jimmy Tilleen.
I'm here at Kilmarnock Park as Jimmy Tilleen spoke to the media ahead of tomorrow's game against Dundee, a game that the Aberdeen manager is expecting to be a physical battle.
They are quite direct. They are challenging for everything. They are strong in the second balls. I think it's a unified team, like they are clear identity. And again, the coach is good, and so we have to be ready. And let's see.
Aberdeen coach Peter Leven has been linked with a recent vacancy at St Johnstone, and Jimmy Tilleen spoke on if Peter could be leaving.
He get what do you say? Allowance, but permission to talk with them, and he's a good coach, and it's good that our good staff get eyes on them, and then it's up to him and of course Peter. But so far so good. He's focusing here and prepare game tomorrow. So that we can say about that.
Aberdeen take on Dundee at Dens Park tomorrow. Kick-off is at 3 o'clock.
We've got to give him it, Ruffy. I mean, a wee bit of McManus loved that.
I bet he had that up his sleeve.
Oh no, that was magnificent for Kobe. That was brilliant for Kobe there. That was tremendous.
Good,
yes,
I
yes.
mean, it's Peter leaving. You've got to hand it to the boy, you know. We sent him a message, Ali, because it was first class from him.
We did indeed.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely brilliant from him up there at Aberdeen, and of course,
It's good to have a reporter with a wee bit about them, a wee bit of banter, some jokes. There's not many in this company.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, it's not too much to ask most of the reporters in here to give you an absolute kicking. Kerry's good fun. Cara, good patter as well. Patrick, Man United fan. Absolutely good banter.
I don't know where he's coming from. I really don't. I'm
Yeah.
going to go and please.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ali is on as well. Yeah, listen, the Dons. You've gone 2-2, Ruffy.
I'm going to go to the Dons too. I think this is a wee tester for them. I don't think they've had one, but this is a wee tester for them. I think they'll come through it 2-1.
2-1 to the Dandies.
Yes.
Yeah, Ali.
No, I think this is where they maybe drop points. I think this will be quite a tough proposition for them, and I think Dundee will take something. I'm going to say 2 each.
2 each. You two are sticking together on this. A wee bit of caution. Well, Ruffy, I have to say to you, I'm going to go 2-1 to Aberdeen. I think Aberdeen will win and go 12 wins.
Yep.
12 consecutive wins. And by the way, the other thing I was going to say to you, Ruffy, it's probably the last message I'm going to read out from Stephen today, because he's I just read him out because I'm in a noise up mode. Stephen has just said, disgusting, Ruffy, saying everyone wants an Old Firm final. There are more than 2 clubs in Scotland, Ruffy. Stop playing to the gallery.
When did I say that?
Last
Oh,
week.
Dave, I think Stephen's on catch up. Stephen's watching the 2022 episodes and just hammering Ruffy. Keep going, Stephen.
I
Hammer need to.
I thought I'd been sleeping through the programme. I think that's what I remember.
He said it the other day.
Ago. I can't remember yesterday.
He said it Monday.
Changed his mind since then.
He said it Monday.
He's changed his mind since then.
No, I haven't. I
Said it Monday. Said it Monday.
I think the majority.
You insinuated it.
Rangers Celtic.
Insinuated it.
Yeah.
I'm not taking. I'm not.
The majority of
I'm not taking it back anyway.
the majority of Celtic and Rangers fans
Yes.
might want a Celtic and Rangers final to have a.
The sponsors will.
The sponsors definitely will. But the rest of them, I mean, having and of all people, having lived in Edinburgh for 12 years. I know most of my Hibby pals and Hearts fans who can't stand Celtic or Rangers. They don't want us, they wouldn't want a Celtic or Rangers final. Everybody wants to see Motherwell give them a what for and Aberdeen to give them.
We want a Motherwell Aberdeen final.
Well,
That's something you eagerly look forward to.
Well, I would look. I don't care. I mean, at the end of the day, if you get there and merit,
Deserve it.
I'll tell you one thing: if Aberdeen,
Use it at it.
if Aberdeen get there,
Obviously, if they get there, well done to them and well done to Motherwell.
yeah.
But the bigger scale is, I think, sure, the majority.
There's more than 2 teams in Scotland, Ruffy. Just want you to remember that.
By the way,
Do you want to give me the spades?
the message to dig him out, yeah. The message here from Stephen, who's just an angry man, like Brian, who also sometimes sends messages to us, is just basically you're playing. Kenny, who's a Dons fan, says, you said it last week. And he says, I can't believe you guys, you're Dons haters. We just predicted 2-1, for God's sake. Kenny has said, Peter, I'll be home for a couple of games, United, Rangers and the semi-final. Might be a good idea for us to meet up with Kenny. It looks as if he's got a bit of cash off. We could get a lunch out of him.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, okay, fantastic. So I've gone for a win. Ruffy's gone for a win. You two are going draw. Now, as far as probably one of the most worrying stories of the week, the last thing you want to hear is one of your players getting in trouble. That's exactly what's happened with St Mirren and Shaun Rooney. And Motherwell against St Mirren is certainly one of those games where I think it's been sidetracked by the events of Shaun Rooney. He's been charged with assault on a woman. And again, at this point, I think the board have acted quickly on this. Stephen Robinson has had his say on this, and it's certainly not in his mind. It's certainly not in his mind a football decision. It's something the board had to intervene on, Ruffy.
Yeah, I think we've seen it through the years. There are certain individuals, I mean, I don't know the circumstances that happened, but there are players out there when they get involved away from football. Some players can walk away from it, some players can't, some players get involved, and some things like this happen. But I think we have to wait until the powers that be judge and exactly what happened, because they'll know the circumstances more than us.
Probably had a positive start to his career. This one is a tough one for I think the club to deal with. Certainly the board will want to follow a fine line here, Alison, because between right and wrong and a fan base who will clearly be monitoring it to see the club's stance if indeed there are final charges.
Yeah, obviously there are legalities, various legalities around the reporting of the alleged assault and also contractual issues around his deal with the club. They'll need to look at. I think it's a huge headache for Stephen Robinson. I think first and foremost it takes him out of his team and gives him a problem that didn't exist until a night out is clearly gone awry. But I think it has the potential to be quite complex in how it is dealt with.
Yeah, absolutely. At the Motherwell camp today, Kerry Pollock got the thoughts of Stuart Kettlewell.
Motherwell return to league duties this weekend as they host St Mirren here at Fir Park on Saturday afternoon, and Stuart Kettlewell knows all about the physical presence that St Mirren have been playing with this season that has brought them a certain amount of success so far.
I've watched them a few times this season. They're a big old physical unit. Yeah, I think they're athletic, I think they're dynamic, I think they carry real good quality in their side as well, pace in behind. Sanya started the season well, his goal scoring, his pace to get in behind.
The Scottish Premiership lost another manager this past week, that being of course Hearts boss Stephen Naismith. And Stuart Kettlewell reminds us just how quickly football can change.
I always found him a touch of class. I always found him as a really approachable guy. Obviously at the sort of front end of his managerial coaching career, but I'm always one for acknowledging achievements, and a comfortable third place finish last season can never be forgotten about. I understand it's been a difficult task at the start of this season. I've never managed Hearts, so difficult for me to comment on it, but I understand that it's one of the biggest clubs in this country, and I realise there will be a lot of pressure that comes with that. So disappointed, of course, that we've lost another manager and someone that's had some real good achievements in there. But yeah, I'm sure Stephen, like the rest of us, will take real positives from his work and his time at Hearts.
The Steelmen will be hoping to continue their winning ways after the euphoria of Friday night as they advance to the Premier Sports Cup semi-final. Kick-off is at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, looking forward to this one. I can only see a draw, Ruffy. I've got it down as a kind of a 1-1.
I'm the same. I think the two teams are pretty level. We saw St Mirren digging in last week. I think you're right coming from. You're looking at set pieces, free kicks, corners. I think both teams are very good at that. So yeah, I'm sitting on the fence in this one each.
Ali?
Yeah, the same. I think maybe a draw.
Motherwell to win 2-1. I think Motherwell at home.
Oh, there you are.
Fancy Motherwell 2-1.
Decisive today. You think Tam's quite decisive because he's obviously drinking some kind of controlled substance? Show everybody your new purchase from TikTok. There it is. Wow.
It's a Stanley mug.
Yeah.
It's Peter Juice in there and just...
Yeah. That's absolutely fantastic.
Keeps your juice or alcohol very cold.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, with each sip, that's why I love you, Ruffy. Honestly, that's why we've been together 12 years. With each sip, he's getting more and more bevied as the show goes on.
He tested at the end.
By the end of the show, he'll be like, Ali, I'll let you take a 5.
Wait to the end.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, Hearts against Ross County. Patrick Mullen was in the capital.
There's a new manager in town here at Hearts as Liam Fox has taken over on an interim basis. They will take on Ross County this weekend as they look to end that 8-game losing streak. For him, well, he hasn't had much time to implement his style of play, but is looking forward to what will be a proud day for him personally.
I've been put into a position which I'm privileged and I'm honoured to be asked to do, and it's a really, really big week. So we can be nervous, we can be. I want us to be looking forward to it. It's a huge week for the football club. It's an exciting time, and if you're a player and a coach or an interim manager, it's a great opportunity to get us back going again. It's going to be very difficult starting off tomorrow. Don Cowie's bringing his team down here, and they're well organised. They work extremely hard, and they've got some real bits of quality as well. So it's going to be it's a massive week, but it's one that I'm hoping that we're looking forward to the challenges.
The new manager also spoke about the quality of player he has here in the dressing room, and while he'd like to see a good performance, for him the most important thing is all 3 points.
I want to win. Let's make that perfectly clear. We want to win. We're going to do everything we can to win, but within that, I would like to see there's intelligent football players in there. So I'm hoping that we'll see 1 or 2 wee differences. And again, that's not been disrespectful to what was before, but that's just me trying to put my personal stamp on the players.
It's Hearts versus Ross County at Tynecastle Park this weekend as Liam Fox gets underway once again. Kick-off is at 3 p.m. and PLZ Soccer will be there live, keeping you up to date.
Yeah, looking forward to this one. Unbeaten in 2 matches. Started to show a wee bit of form, Ross County, although we all have Ross County and St Johnstone in the mix at the bottom end of it, but they've scored some good goals.
Yeah, they have. I think the wee lad Hale, Hale up front has been excellent for them, scoring goals. 2 late goals last week to salvage. It really looked as if they'd lost the game last week. 2 great free kicks with Nicky Clark, but 4 points for the last 6 come down with a wee bit of confidence, Peter, after a poor start to the season. Hearts, I don't know what you'll get with Hearts. They've been really poor this season. New face in the dugout, might get a boost, might get a lift.
If you get an emphatic win from Hearts, is that a suggestion that the players are cheating their manager before?
No, Peter. That's I don't think they have been. But how many times have you seen somebody new coming in, whether that's an interim manager or a new manager, and you get a wee bounce for that? If Hearts get that, I think they win the game. I think they've got better players than Ross County. And Liam Fox steps in again. I think he stepped in a couple of times at different clubs as interim manager. He's like the Scottish, who was the guy, Parks, that was at Blackburn, used to step in every time Blackburn get... Tony Parks? I can't remember the guy's name.
I think it was Tony Parks.
Tony Parks, he kind of stepped in every time Blackburn binned a manager. But no, I still fancy Hearts to win this game. I just think they've got too much quality with down at the bottom, so I think they'll win 2-0.
Rob says, Hearts will win and that will show up the players for what they are. These are the same ones that can't handle it until the cover of a manager is gone from above them. Well, that's the other thing about it. Thankfully, we haven't had "we let the manager down" rhetoric, because that does my head in, Ruffy. The manager pays the price, 8 consecutive losses, and now Liam Fox has to try and get a trick out of them.
Yeah, I think if you listen to the interview for Craig Gordon, he was pretty upset about what had happened. He'd actually, some players would take the blame. I don't mean him, but the other players haven't performed at all. I thought there was signs against St Mirren. If they'd get a wee break here or there, they might have got something out of that game. So I think tomorrow's game, I think it'll be quite an easy win for Hearts. I really do at home, but they've got to win this game. If they don't win it, then Liam Fox has to go.
I'm really curious to see who they're going to pick. I think St Johnstone have got an interesting selection process in the manager because of the American slant on it as well, about what their demands are of the manager who has to come in and work under clearly parameters that they are setting out there that they have to buy into. As far as Hearts are concerned, I'm really curious to see who they are going to select. I've said my piece on who I think should be in the running, but it's a big call for them.
Huge call for them. I think getting the appointment right is fundamental. I think this is a club that has access to European football. It finished a comfortable third last term, and already that looks like almost an unattainable challenge when you look at the points Aberdeen have banked in the opening 6 weeks of the campaign and where Hearts are now. The chasm already looks too significant to bridge, and I think that will be a massive disappointment for the club that you're missing out on that third place finish. Obviously there is ample time to do it, but I just think the magnitude of the gap between a team that would be challenging for them already just looks too wide. And of course you want to have access to European football by finishing in those positions because it offers more finance to come into the club. So yeah, I think the appointment is fundamental to achieving those aims.
Score?
I'm going to take them to win. I think they'll win 2-0.
2-0 Hearts.
3-0. Yeah, I'm going 2-1 Hearts in this one. Kilmarnock against Dundee United. Big thing for Derek. Just keep 11 players on the park. He's had 4 red cards already this season, which can alter a manager's plans in a game.
Yeah, 100%, Peter. There's it's hard enough to win with 11 players. If you go a man down, as Kilmarnock have done several times this season. I think Joe Wright's been sent off twice. It's very, very difficult to win games in the Premier League. There's not a lot between the teams outside the Celtic and Rangers. There's not a lot in between the teams, and you've got to keep 11 men apart. I fancy Kilmarnock strong in this game. That'd be my tip of the weekend. Actually, I think they'll start to climb the table now. They've been out of Europe. They've had a wee rest there. Dundee United, not convinced about them. Thought they were poor against Rangers and then lost to Motherwell away. I think the Kilmarnock win this 2-0.
Wow, interesting. I think from Derek McInnes's point of view, I've already said keeping 11 players on the park is one thing, but let's not forget, rather surprisingly, the manager has to talk about being bottom of the table.
I think you're the only one that's paying, to be honest. We're good. We're all good. I mean, I manage the way I manage, and my players work, and they know what to expect from me. I think even just having that routine and familiarity of training day to day. As I say, I do think it was clear for people watching us that we looked as if we had a proper working week going into the St Mirren game. Now we feel Hibs, St Mirren, decent performances, more than decent performances in the 2 games. It's not been winning performances, but in another day they were.
Yeah, it's hard to believe, Ali. I mean, you're almost looking in amazement at where Kilmarnock find themselves.
You'll contrast it with the mood around Kilmarnock and the mood around Hearts when you think of the tough starts they've had to the campaign. I think both have been affected by juggling European demands. I think you saw the effect that had on Kilmarnock. They're not used to it. They maybe don't have the squad depth when you're flying back on a late on a Thursday night and then you're going straight into a game on a Sunday. I think you saw it quite clearly had an impact on performances. I think there's a calmness about it. I don't think anyone's panicking. I think if you've seen them, I think they've been unlucky at points in games. I think you would fancy them to settle down and start to move up the table a bit.
Dundee United had a really good run where I think there was something like maybe 6 or 7. In fact, they were unbeaten until they had the last couple of games. So the wheels have come off a wee bit. So give us your prediction, Ruffy.
I think it'll be pretty tight. You know, there's nothing worse than getting into games and you're sitting second bottom of the league. You know, you start believing that you're not getting the breaks. Derek believes he's not getting the VAR shouts. And these are the things that you try and hang on to. But they need to get a win soon. It's okay, I'm saying, oh, I'm happy and everything's good and that, but you've got to win games, and a home game is where the fans are going to judge them. I just got a funny feeling Dundee United may get a draw out of this.
Yeah.
One each.
You, on a regular basis, Ruffy, have had regular funny feelings.
Yeah.
You know? No real logic to them. No. Whatsoever. Alison, do you have any?
I think Kilmarnock will win. 2-1 Kilmarnock.
2-1 Killy.
Can you imagine Ruffy had like a Tony Bloom, like the opposite of that? Like Tony Bloom's analytic company, you know, you look at stats.
Jamestown Analytics.
Jamestown Analytics. You imagine Ruffy just had, I've just got a feeling analytics.
Yeah.
And he just done that. I think it'd be interesting to do that. I think it would be successful, Ruffy.
Can I just say something to
It's
you?
a hunch.
We used to do a Saturday football show with myself, Ruffy, Gordon Smith and Macca at times, which was an absolute riot. And Ruffy came out one day on the Saturday football show and I asked him for his overall analysis of a game, and he came out with about, easily, Alison, about 12 stats on the game, which set off the alarms in my head. Because that was never part of his makeup, right?
Copying someone's homework.
So, no, well, he has from time to time actually looked at Gordon Smith's notes and he used to recite them. But he came out with this, just a raft of stats and everything and insight into it. And I thought to myself, that is so unusual that, you know, that he's done that, right? So we went to a commercial break. And I checked every one of them. It was just a load of baloney. I don't know where he got it from. He just plucked He just plucked it all out of there. And it was just, everything was factually incorrect. And we come back out, you know, not in any way, you know, flustered by the whole thing, you know.
A really good one on air, we'll discuss it. Remember the team that came to St Mirren?
Yes.
That team came, there's a group of, now some teams have...
Twin Towns.
Twin Towns. There was a German team, supporters came to watch St Mirren, but the game was postponed, and Gordon had said, "Oh, it's a nightmare, it must be a fair travel. I wonder where they came from." And I said they came from Uffenblanken.
Anything.
With the Gordon say, did they?
Oh, absolutely. Anything.
Just make it up?
It was Uffenblasen. And anything that sounded German, just to try and fool Gordon Smith at every opportunity. He was just bananas, so he was. Anyway, just before we go, a couple of things I want to quickly get your thoughts on. Scott McTominay.
What a start he's made.
By the way, Billy Gilmour started in the game.
Yeah, I think fantastic for both of them. I think Scott McTominay's made an immediate impression. So there's a bit of chat among some Italian journalists on social media at the start of the week. They were chatting about Maradona comparisons. I think we maybe need to calm down a wee bit, but I think no doubt that he's caught the imagination of the support.
Yeah, absolutely. Long may it continue. I mean, they are really going crazy about him. He's played well as well.
Well, obviously the manager knows what the two of them can bring to the team. You know, obviously playing in England, he's watched them a lot, and international. I think the two of them have matured by playing European football as well, but he's certainly doing remarkably well there.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of people commenting on it. Les says, Ruffy has women's intuition. That's up for debate. And also, Ruffy does for stats what Trump does for truth, says Paul Brady. So there you are. And Kenny, who's living out in America, says, please don't mention Trump again. Never thought we'd mention him on this, but nevertheless. And just a little footnote quickly, Tam. Game of the weekend for me in the English Premier League is Man United Spurs on Sunday.
Yeah, by cracker. I think you've seen Spurs last night, Peter, the way they play. I think they'll go and they'll just attack Man United. It'll suit Man United as well. Most teams go to Old Trafford and sit in, so I'll be a cracker. 7 each.
7 each. Yeah, that's good. And as you can see, the 15th sip of that bottle has taken full effect now, and he's absolutely mortal. One game that I'll quote the old Tommy Docherty phrase, Ruffy, if there was one game that I'm looking at and thinking I wouldn't draw the curtains for it, is Bournemouth Southampton on the Monday. You know, there are some games that you just look at and you think, oh, I'm going to give it a miss.
It's a South Coast derby, isn't it?
Yeah.
A derby game.
Yeah, probably agree with you on that one.
Yeah, Ali? There's
Yes.
some games where there's just
Yes.
a saturation point for you.
Yeah, I think English football actually has quite a few more than them than you would think.
Yeah, absolutely. You're very pro. Can I just get your thoughts? And I think it's a brilliant way to finish. Celtic women have made the Champions League group stages. The pictures of the girls celebrating was absolutely magnificent. 3-0 in aggregate.
Yeah, I think it's a phenomenal achievement to get as far as they have. It's the first time in their history that they've ever been so deep into the tournament. It's the last 16 now. It goes to four groups of 4. It's the first time that Scotland have had a representative in the group stages. Of course, Glasgow City made it to the quarter-finals twice before. However, the tournament has been reformatted and restructured. It's a more modern tournament now, more teams involved in the qualification process. So it is a very significant achievement and a fairly glamorous draw for them to Real Madrid, which I think will be played at Celtic Park. Chelsea game I think will be played at Stamford Bridge, and they've got 22. They're in amongst the last 16. It is genuinely the elite level of European football and a phenomenal achievement to get there.
Yeah, absolutely. And just for anybody who is up on their grammar, 20, and then they've got them as well, just in case they think 22 is a team. Don't know why I said that, Ali. On that note, I think I've taken too many sips of Tam's Cup as well. I hope you've enjoyed the banter. I hope you can actually hit that subscription on our YouTube channel. We'd love you to join the football family. Look out tomorrow for Courtney Stewart in conversation with Cara Henderson. It's a great interview, a lovely insight into a girl who loves her football, wants to play on, but of course these major health issues, life itself is far more important than any football game that you want to play in, and I think Courtney Stewart has got a big decision coming her way, and certainly Cara, her teammate, handles it brilliantly. Watch it if you can for us on YouTube. From Ruffy, from Alison, and from Tam McManus and myself, Peter Martin, thank you for listening and watching.